Boston University has received federal approval to build a biosafety Level 4 laboratory in the Roxbury South End neighborhood of Boston. Groundbreaking is projected for the spring of 2006.
I need everybody who's going to participate in this march with us to listen up. Be very, very clear, okay? We are marching to protest this biolab. We don't want it built here in our community, and we mean business, right?
This BSL-4 lab would contain and work with the world's most deadly pathogens, among them Ebola, plague, and anthrax. An agent escaping the laboratory would cause a severe threat to public health and possibly deaths.
We say, no, we don't want it. No, we don't need it.
Many of the agents experimented with in this BSL-4 lab could be used in biowarfare and bioterrorism, as it is nearly impossible to distinguish between offensive and defensive applications of biodefense research.
My name is Mark Pelletier. I live at 8 Glade Ave in Jamaica Plain. I am a scientist. I have degrees in microbiology, biochemistry, biology. I've looked at the list of projects in the application that BU submitted, and on those diseases they list are anthrax, botulism toxin, plague, Ebola. This lab is about bioterrorism. This lab is not about public health. So let's get that out in the open.
I'm Sue Gracie, and I live on Monmouth Court in Brookline. And when I stopped and thought about it, and really thought about the fact that these organisms are invisible, they are deadly, they are airborne, they mutate, and they self-reproduce. And I think the reason that a worst-case scenario hasn't appeared is because it would take Stephen King to write it.
My name is Mary Regan. I live at 37 Mount Ida Road. I'm a little upset tonight. I didn't plan on talking, but I had a little piece of paper opposing the biolab, like that one. And a Boston police detective took it away from me. It's not what I expected in a public hearing. That's what I expected in a country that has the First Amendment.
Massachusetts has no regulations pertaining to BSL-4 labs. There are regulations for other inherently dangerous facilities, such as nuclear power plants. BSL-4 labs are inherently dangerous simply because they experiment with the world's most deadly diseases.
I began to work with ACE on the issue of the biolab after discovering that our Roxbury comprehensive master plan that we were all involved with for about 5 years had some very obscure language that said that the Melnea-Cass Boulevard in the lower Roxbury community could possibly be a welcome site for a biolaboratory or a series of biolaboratories. Once we saw that, we took to Melnea-Cass Boulevard in protest. The legislation would clearly put regulations on the siting of a laboratory of this kind. It would also mandate that there would have to be community involvement. Clearly, this will be a model for all other states. And the fact that there has been this dangerous accident, unfortunately, it was timely, and fortunately, it did allow us to get out the truth.
3 researchers at Boston University Medical Center fell ill in 2004 after being exposed to a potentially deadly tularemia bacterium in a Level 2 biosecurity lab. Yet city and university officials kept the news quiet until after the center's application to build a more high-level biosecurity lab, Level 4, in a densely populated part of Boston was accepted by the city this January.
Brothers and sisters, this is not just about the bioterror lab. It's about a government that lies, cheats, and deceives. We have to stand up and confront that government. We have to let that government know that we are the people, and we are not going to fall for their lies even when they have BU out there fronting for them. BU is obviously a pawn. It's a self-interested pawn. But we should understand that the universities go where the money is, and the government is putting up the money, and the government controls what will happen in that lab. I don't trust our government, and so it's up to us not only to fight the lab, but it's up to us to bring our friends and our neighbors together to help them understand that regardless of what BU is saying, we have to begin to think critically. We have to begin to think analytically.
The other question, though, that we really have to ask ourselves is, as American people, and that is, do we really need 5, 6, 7, 8 bioterror labs? I think there's a danger. I think there's a danger particularly because our government has not been willing to sign the International Bioterrorism Treaty.
Over 150 scientists and academics in the area, including Nobel laureates and National Science Academy members, have raised serious objections and signed a letter stating their opposition to the project.
I'm Jonathan King. I'm professor of molecular biology at MIT, where I've been since 1970. I've long been involved in the issues of biological warfare. I worked on strengthening the Biological Weapons Convention. I testified before House and Senate committees on the issues. I was one of the co-authors of the National Scientist Petition preventing a biological arms race. It was an outrageous proposal. I mean, to locate in one of the most densely populated areas of the city of Boston, a bioterrorism research lab violated everything we know about laboratory safety and these kind of issues for 50 years of experience. Our original position about biological weapons security, it was very clear. The way you get security is you have a stronger treaty, stronger enforcement, and that developing, quote, defenses against bioweapons is extremely dangerous. It's not dangerous to some distant enemy, it's not dangerous to your own community. It was the people who lived around Sverdlovsk in Russia who died from the anthrax accident there, not any of their national rivals. And they'll be, as I said, very, very hazardous, new, unknown, novel, and not subject to the normal oversight. It'll be against the law for them to reveal what they're doing there. And in fact, it was striking that they never revealed to this date what they put in the proposal to the National Institutes of Health. So all that was whited out in the released proposals. So how is a community group or municipal agency or state agency to ensure that things are done safely when you can't find out what they're working on?